What's up, y'all? Senior Cheesecake here, and today we're talking Jeff. Yes, the ankle biter, chaos gremlin, people's champion himself, Jeff the Landshark. Comics to rivals, panel to payload, cute to carnage. But before we dive in, I want you to know that Jeff's not just a meme that got lucky. He's a legit Marvel character with receipts. Then he swam straight onto her scoreboards and lobbies. But let's break it down: the origins, the rise, and why the Rivals version works so well in his canon. In the comics, Jeff started off in the 2010s with the West Coast Avengers run. A herd of landsharks hit Santa Monica, and one of those little guys ended up being adopted by Gwenpool. It may have been just a quick kind of blink and you'll miss it cameo at first, but it became a full meet and greet the next issue where Kelly Thompson and the artist Danielle Di Nicola and Jirihuru both kind of, all three of them worked together to create the full kind of embodiment of what Jeff was. He was a weaponized, adorable bit of energy that basically carried him from one place to another and eventually onto an internet where Girihuru kind of took over himself, where Jeff moved from being this part of the comics kind of being babysat by Elsa Bloodstone, Kate Bishop, Deadpool himself, Gwenpool. Each time he was kind of taking on their personas and becoming part of the comic that he was in, where Girihuru, and I apologize if I am messing up that name, but he was a little more focused on kind of the chaos that Jeff was. And I feel this is where Rivals, that's what informs Rivals the most, is that chaos. It was one-liners. It was you seeing that one panel and completely getting what Jeff was, as well as what he was doing, as well as the joke that was intended, or maybe your own little jokes kind of inserted. It was very much kind of fourth wall breaking, just like Deadpool does and Gwenpool does, but it was his own different way, and it's also his cuteness. He's immediately recognizable just for that kind of gushingness. But that's what kind of, like I said, informed what Rivals is. Jeff isn't about doing these great attacks. Yes, he can be utilized as a complete beast, but when it comes down to it, you're more likely to see Jeff being goofy. Is it because of the Marvel's community just being goofy? No, Jeff kind of brings that out just naturally. And I love the fact that the comics started it and we've just kind of taken it on without even realizing, and kind of just, I would say also Netease kind of embracing with that kit that they outfitted Jeff with. There's a lot of chaos there. You being able to go into the ground and disappear, run around, go up walls, and then come back into the action ready to splash about. Like, that is what Jeff is in the comics. He doesn't have lasers, he doesn't have a cape. Jeff at his core is just chaos, and that's what he is in the game. That's at least what I personally have in my own gameplay. You can look through my history, and it's full of that same chaos. And me unknowingly, until I did a full kind of deep dive into what Jeff's history was, I realized that I wasn't fully embracing what Jeff is at his core, which is that chaos, which is just, you don't know what he's going to do one minute to the next. And a lot of times that's the same criticism you'll see of support players that are playing Jeff, is they're not really reliable sometimes when it comes to it. But good Jeff players use that chaos to kind of almost play as a DPS. Like, they'll drop in and pull people away from that main. Even the It's Jeff ult will do that same thing, where you'll cause chaos just by making people scatter, and you can suddenly have a payload free that your team can get on right afterwards. That is, even though it can be cause problems half the time, that ult is what Jeff is, and it can be super helpful, and it can, like I said, cause problems in the end. But overall, that is the beauty of what Jeff is, and that's what NetEase has gotten right, and that's what it's all attributed to original creators as well. They built this adorable character that has just been this onion of just added just adorable different approaches that have just everyone's had their own little takes on him that's just added to it and just made him stronger overall as just a character. And in the game itself, I love playing Jeff, and you can see it in my history, and maybe that makes me a little biased, but I feel that he is one of the best characters in the game when it comes to support because of the way that you can focus and also like focus on that healing but also do damage to the team, the enemy, because you're like kind of plinking at them if you aim right. It's all about angles, and that also adds to the chaos because you're suddenly diving in, repositioning, so you are all over the place. And I feel that's where that supposed unreliability that we get labeled with, we have to do that. We're squishy, so we have to make sure to stay alive. We have to reload by diving underneath. Like, this is all kind of strategy. At least if you're a good Jeff player, that's what you're kind of doing. You can also just panic. I will be honest. You'll see plenty of my videos that will have at those times edited out, but you can see me on Twitch at any moment pretty much having those panic moments along with that true chaos, true, it adds to a team's dynamic when that Jeff can chaotically pull people away or just find that perfect angle where there is a full lane of our team being fully healed as well as the enemy being just damaged, and also you being able to use your quick plink to if like pause. Even I've paused ults before where you're able to just hit them with your damage and just do a splash right in their face. I love that. That is, he is one of the best kits. And once again, this is just me being biased, but I love the fact that his kit completely embraces his history within the comics. And that's going to bring this to the close, though, for my Jeff history. This is Senior Cheesecake. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care.